Hi everybody, and welcome to Highland Pacific Golf Course. Beautiful facility. We're out here on the Highland 9. My name is Scott Keenlyside, and I'm one of the golf instructors here at the Golf Academy. Today we're going to show you a shot here that I think can help you with your game, help you lower your scores, and give you an idea how to handle a kind of a tricky shot, right, that we see a lot. If you'll notice around the green here, you'll notice that coming off the apron, you'll notice it goes into this longish grass, right? This grass, though it is nicely cut, can be very sticky and can be very difficult to hit a shot out of. Sometimes conventional shots just simply don't work out of this type of lie. So I'm going to show you, give you an idea today about a shot you could hit that might work nicely for you, and it's one of those shots that you kind of got to create or kind of invent to be able to I think get the ball close to the hole on a regular basis. So what I've done is I've dropped a couple of balls here, and I put in fact I've sunk the balls down just a little bit, because it always seems when you're in these lies and there's something, your game is going swell and you're really trying to shoot a good score, that you always seem to come up sometimes with the bad lie. So that will, I hope, will help you understand better what I'm trying to do here. So I brought 3 clubs with me. I brought my 3 wedges, which is my pitching wedge, sand wedge, and my 6-degree wedge, and I've got myself a very difficult little shot here. I've got about 60 feet to the hole. I'm going a little bit uphill. I've got a side hill. I haven't made it easy for myself, that's for sure, but we're going to try and execute this and see if we can show you how you might think about playing this shot. So because I'm going a little bit uphill here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try this shot with my sand iron, and I'll give you the reasons why in just a moment. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify my stance pretty dramatically in this, or quite dramatically, to help me execute this shot. So first of all, I look at the contour of the green. Am I going uphill, downhill? In this particular case, I'm going uphill just a snick. I've got a right to left break here. This is a tough shot. And so I've got to have to aim a bit to the right to allow for that. I've got the ball sitting down in here, and this particular lie even gets worse when it gets wet. And of course in the morning with the morning dew and whatever, these lies can be very sticky and they're very difficult to sometimes hit shots from. So what we're going to do is we're going to aim the club up at my target line, which is up to the right there, because remember we talked about it breaking right to left. I'm going to take just a square stance. I haven't really kind of committed my feet yet. I'm just trying to get the club pointed where I want to go. But then I'm going to set my feet in place, and all these short shots, you should always have your stance slightly open. That means your hips and your shoulders open too, just a snick. It's a short shot, so I'm going to grip it a little bit shorter. It gives me a little bit more control, which we need for this particular shot. I'm going to move the ball, and here's really, I think, what I'm going to call it the trick, is I'm going to move the ball back in my stance where I would ordinarily have it. I'm going to get it pretty close to that back heel, or excuse me, the back toe, back heel. And so I'm going to set myself up in this position. Then I'm going to put my weight forward and my hand slightly forward, and I'm now in a position where I'm going to go to hit it. But where it's going to change, where it's going to be slightly different than a conventional shot is, in fact, because the ball is sitting down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit down on the ball. I'm going to get quite wristy at the start, hit down on the ball, and what I call pop it out. I'm going to pop it out, and there's not going to be much of a follow through. In fact, I would suspect I may even dig into the turf just a little bit, but I'm going to hit down, I'm going to pop it out, and then have it run up to the hole. Okay, so let's try and see what happens. Okay, so aim the club at the target. I'm going to take my normal stance. I'm going to move it back in my stance. I'm going to get my weight forward, my hands forward, okay? And then at this point, I'm going to get wristy at the beginning. I'm going to hit down on the shot, and then I'm going to pop the ball out. Okay, not too bad. Now look at my finishing positions, guys. You can see how my weight's forward, my hands are forward. You notice my left wrist is not broken down here. It's very important. That's what helped me come into the ball with that bit of force, is the fact is that this has not broken. For a lot of you folks who, in fact, break their wrists on their chipping, that's going to lead to some pretty erratic shot making. So you can see I've got that ball up there about 4 or 5 feet, and I've got a chance of getting that ball down from there. I like this shot. Shot looked pretty good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use now my pitching wedge for this shot. Same shot. And is the pitching wedge the right club? Well, perhaps. One of the reasons is that I say that is because I'm going uphill, so I probably want the ball to run a little bit more. So one thing I want you to remember about this shot is that as I move, if I'm looking at a conventional golf club in this fashion, as I move my hands forward, as you notice I did when I set myself up, what I'm doing is I'm de-lofting the club. So I'm expecting that golf ball to come off not like a pitching wedge, but I'm expecting it to come off maybe 7, maybe 8 iron. So it's going to run a bit more. So make sure you factor that into how far you want the ball to go in the air, how far is it going to roll on the ground, okay? That's super important, and I've said that in many of my articles about the short game. How far do you want to hit the ball in the air? How far is it going to roll on the green? And that is one of the keys to becoming a better short game player. Okay, so let's try this same guy with a pitching wedge. Okay, so same thing. I've got the ball sitting down. Ooh, I've really got it down there, right? And I'm going to get the club lined up on the path that I want it to, where I want to shoot it. I'm going to take my normal stance. I'm going to move it back in my stance. I'm going to put my hand slightly forward and my weight forward. At this point, again, as I'd mentioned, I'm going to get wristy. I'm going to get wristy at the beginning, and then I'm going to hit down on the ball, pop it out, and see if I can get it up there by the hole. Okay, so here I go. So I set the club, the target line. I have a club, just always set the club straight up and down when I start, just like this. I set my feet, they're square, I'm open. My feet are open, my hips are open, my shoulders are open. I've gripped the club a little bit shorter because it's just short shot. That allows me to come a little bit closer, a little more detailed work. Okay, then I get my hands forward, my weight forward. I'm going to get wristy at the start here. I'm in fact going to move it a little further back in my stance. Okay, and then it's just a question of hitting down and through. Ooh, that one's really good. So there you go. So there's a couple of shots. This is the first time I've tried this shot, so this is a pretty nasty shot. But you can see the technique. If you get the technique right, you get it figured out, that the outcome can sometimes be very pleasing. And then you can make the putt, go on to the next tee, and really feel really solid about your game. Thanks very much.